Okay. Okay. You want to kill Dragon Boss? Question mark? I know how to do it. Me. Okay. This is Biss. Was that a good intro? I think that's pretty good. GM to YouTube. Okay, this is Biss. All right. Ink is better here than Torva because the boss is weak to Crush. Boss is weak to Crush. You will only be using Crush. There's no switches. It's just crushing. You're just crushing the boss. Crush, 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 crush. The Lance, it's good for the first bit where it's 1-by-1 targets, so Scythe will not work. So there's an intro bit where you're climbing up a mountain. You're going to hit these body parts. Eventually, this tail's going to get out of the way once you kill those. You're going to go up to the head of Hueycoatyl, where Scythe is Biss. You just Scythe it. After you get the head to 50% health, he has a tail that shows up that you have to kill out of the cave. That has weird mechanics, and I'm going to get into that. But your Biss is basically the Maccas, the cha-cha-chas, the boppers. The bopper sticks. These are Biss. Scythe is Biss. You don't have a Scythe. You're not rich, okay? Lance is second best. Lance is second best. So if you have a Lance, very solid. Boppers are not optional, though. You need those. You need those for the body parts. A decent alternative, if you don't have those, is they just added Frost Nagas. They drop, I forget what they're called, Glacial Hammers. Those are very similar. So if you don't have Maccas and you have those, which are pretty easy to get, I think, those are solid as well. And then Lance again, and then Lance again, third. Yeah. If you don't have a Lance, and you're like, can I kill this thing? You sure can. Boppers are great on their own. Just use Boppers the whole time. Boppers are next best after Lance. Besides things like Mace and Soul Reaper Axe. If you have a Lance, I mean, if you have one of those, a Soul Reaper Axe or a Mace, you probably also have a Lance. So I'm going to assume you don't have those if you don't have a Lance, right? Boppers are next best. These are 20% worse than Scythe, I believe. Not that much worse. So pretty solid. They work well. And you can use them on everything. I'll do like a normal kill and like a budget kill. These work fine as camp the entire time. Spec weapon, Burning Claws are solid. Claws, I believe, are best. Because Burning Claws burn, when Huey gets to 50% health, it gets rid of the burn. Burn also doesn't work on the body segments on the side, not that you would spec it. So Burning Claws have some issues. I believe Dragon Claws are best. Burning Claws are a cheap option if you don't have that. After that, I don't know. My runes are Thralls and Death Charge. Death Charge does work on the body segments at the beginning, which is kind of nice. You can drop a spec and grab a Death Charge off them, which is cool. Voidwaker is decent in masses for MVP. Voidwaker's fine if you have it, sure. Okay, if you're wondering, how do I go kill this boss? You don't want to solo this boss, and you don't want to kill it in duo. You need a trio or larger. And we're going to get into that, but it has a mechanic that reduces your damage if you are in a low scale, a solo or a duo. You do not want to do that. It is not worth soloing or duoing this boss. You need a larger scale. We will pot. You can make instances. You hit the flag on the mountain here. You can make your own instance, and your friends can join you. So that's what I'm doing. Okay. For this, you just run up and hit it with Lance. Everything is on Crush, by the way. Scythe on Crush, Lance on Crush, everything on Crush. He does Lightning. Lightning splotches on the ground that you have to dodge. They hit you 3 ticks after they appear, I believe. And then there's occasionally projectiles that are color-coded based on what you have to pray. So that's going to be melee. They come extremely slowly. Little ding means you're done, so go up to here. You can spam click the boss to easily move without losing a tick. You can do a crossbow shot as you're running for just the chance at a proc. That's the only reason I have it. You don't really need this. These pillars on the side are a mechanic where you keep your protection prayers up. If 3 different protection prayers are active all the time, so we have a person praying melee, 2 praying ranged, me praying mage, as long as 1 person is doing each, the bar is going to fill and it does another ding, and your damage is now increased. So now I'm hitting 93 with my claws. So that's how that works. Failure. Okay, the way this tail works is it has a damage cap of 9. You can't hit higher than 9. So double hit weapons are really good. The other thing is you're guaranteed to hit if Crush is your highest style. If you're using a Scythe, Crush is not your highest style, so it's not very good, even though you would think it would be good with a damage cap. So this is why the Boppers are so good, because they're primarily Crush, and they're guaranteed to hit every time. So these are Biss, which is counterintuitive, but true. And then just get back on the boss. Okay, this spot here, what he's going to do now is tails are going to do waves that come out of the caves, like that. So we dodge those. If it happens to do the tail out of this cave, if you just stand on this tile, it doesn't actually hit you. So it can't hit you. That's a whole kill. That's it. So it's melee the body segments, run up to here, melee the head to 50%, kill the tail, and finish the head. That's it. That's a whole kill. I am going to get budget out to show what that looks like. Yeah, I think that's it. Okay. All right. We're good. Same thing. Oh, they're already in there. They're going. Okay. I might do one more kill. We may have jumped the gun on that one. Oh, you can see you still hit fairly well. It is only 20% less good than Scythe. It's ideal to hold Spec until you hear the ding, because then you're going to do more damage. The way I avoid this wave is if you get on this early, if you step off and you see the wave particle in this corner of the box of the tail right here, then if you click back on, you dodge it. So that's what I've been doing. I also have these 2 green tiles. So if you wait a second and then click, you'll auto-dodge the wave. Never mind, I waited too long. XDD. If you lose like 1 tick, then you'll dodge it by default. Solo is ass because you can't have 3 protection prayers up. Exactly. Exactly. You can never charge these in duo or solo. So that's why it's really bad. Okay. So if I stand on this tile, that won't hit me. We can just AFK here. I'm late on that. Yep. You gotta click kind of early from the corner. We'll do another one. So the way the loot works here is it's the same as Nex, where the more damage you deal, the more of the loot you get total. So everybody's gonna get the same drop. But you can see we were in a 4-man, and I joined late, so I got 2 rune maces of the 16 that were dropped, right? So the more damage you do, the more loot you're gonna get, and I'm gonna assume the more chance at a rare drop, but I don't know exactly how it works. Bopper's only good with the full set. The full set's really good because it increases your attack speed when it procs. This makes it a 3-tick attack. So it boosts your damage a ton to have the full set. Yeah, you just sit on that.
A leech has spawned.
Spam click from here. How good is Lance on the tail versus those new Frost Boppers? The Frost Boppers are a lot better. I actually bought a pair day 1 for 1 mil as well. So they're very cheap. I think the Frost Nagas are really good training, so those are just going to be cheap in general. So if you don't have Blood Moon, like those are solid to get your hands on. So check the corner and then click it. Toreg is really bad. I don't know why people are using that. Okay, so it's about to go down. Go now. And it dodges it. I'll pray melee. Everybody's on melee. I'm not changing. Okay. 14 Burning Claw is really bad. There you go. There's another kill. So that's really it. It's very, very, very simple. And the punishment for messing something up is a 20. A 20 at worst. There's really no risk of dying here. And that's it. That's really all there is to it. If you're looking for a reason to kill the boss, like why would you go here, right? Rewards? Here's the deal. Spoiler alert, there isn't one. There isn't a reason to go here. Dragon Hunter Wand sounds cool. This is incredibly weak. Incredibly weak. This is basically just for killing steel dragons early on in Iron Man is the only thing you would care about this. This is not good on Ulm. This is not good anywhere. It sits between a regular Trident and Trident of the Swamp on Ulm. So if you're like, is this thing good at dragons? No. You can take it to steel dragons and it's okay. This hide creates improved Blessed D-Hide. It's basically the same as Blessed D-Hide with slightly more prayer bonus. That's it. It has 2 extra prayer bonus. So just slightly better Blessed D-Hide. And then Tome of Earth boosts Earth spells, which is, again, only going to be used on the Steel Dragons. So there you go. So that's all of his drops. The only other thing that matters that you would care about here, the regular drops are just not very good. They're just not very good in general. Moons are just way better in general. These seeds are useful. They give you a new herb, Grimy Huasca. This lets you create prayer enhances, which are a useful potion. They're incredibly lengthy to grind. So I feel like on an Iron Man, you're probably only going to use these in places like Coliseum and Inferno. Like incredibly difficult challenges where prayer's an issue. Like that kind of thing. Because the potions are just so hard to get. Right now, day 1, the potions are 500k, depending. Like between 3 and 500k. They'll go down, but these are an expensive potion and they're difficult to get. They might make the secondary for the herb minigame easier to get. We'll see. These seeds are fairly rare from the boss, and the secondary you need from the herb minigame is fairly hard to get. So that's a thing. So the main reason you'd come here is get that. There's also a pet, so pet hunters rejoice. There's a reason to go here. That's like the other thing. Honestly, not very impressed with this boss. I was expecting like a Moons tier boss with some like tutorial-y mechanics, that kind of thing. Maybe some okay regular loot, but not really what we got even. Yeah, I'm hoping to make some changes. We'll see. We need more switches with these new bosses, but maybe that's too hard for new players. They gotta be getting switches in there somehow. I don't know why they're never trying to teach switches. All right, so this setup I just put in, Max Mage with Ward and Maccas, is 1% better than the setup I just used, which is this one. This setup. Even on tail? No, much worse on tail. Much worse on tail. So this is better overall. But, you know, on everything else, if you wanted to do like a huge 9-way switch into Max Mage, it would be 1% better than this. Use Strength Ammy? Oh, that would be better, you're right. 0.5%, I'm sorry. What if you had Wand? It would be worse. That's a 5-tick Wand. Shadow's surely decent. What is that compared to? Let me put this back in like actually good gear. Let's do Max with Blood Moon. Does it beat that? So, like, you need Blood Moon on the tail, so no. Yeah, this is Shadow versus Blood Moon. Like, Shadow's technically 2.7% better. This is with Heart, right? Yeah, I have Heart in. It's technically better, but then it's going to be worse on the tail, and you'd have to do a Blood Moon switch anyways. Yeah, so don't use magic on this boss, basically. Don't use magic on this boss. No reason to. Or ranged. Also, don't range, yeah. I think that covers it all. Yeah.